Twisted Dandy buff, Twisted Astro buff, Scraps buff, Razzle and Dazzle buff. What do all these things have in common? Well, yes, they're buffs and nerfs, obviously, but no, these are all the only game mechanics that are going to be coming in the next update. The one thing is about these buffs and nerfs, so some of these buffs have been listed slightly regarding what they're going to do to the tune, so what I'm going to show you is what that would look like in game, what it's already like in game, and if the buff or the nerf isn't already listed, things that I think should be added and what they could potentially do. So the first thing that we're starting off with is in fact going to be the Twisted Dandy buff. And the main reason for this buff is because people are saying that Dandy isn't scary enough. If your goal is to make it scary, how would you just put it on its hind legs like this? That is absolutely mortifying. But in my opinion, Dandy is already quite a scary looking Twisted. This person had the idea of having Dandy having 2 phases. Don't exactly know what the context of that would be or how you get to the stage 2, but it's kind of a cool concept nonetheless. But since they don't find it scary, Quell thought she could just raise the chasing speed of Dandy. You guys can read this Discord message from Quell if you feel so inclined. But let's go ahead and take a look at Twisted Dandy's current stats. So as you can see right here, the speed of Twisted Dandy is currently just set as average. So giving a speed boost to Twisted Dandy would make a lot of sense considering it's like the biggest Twisted in the game. Not only that, but Twisted Dandy goes after machines when finished, along with dealing 3 hearts worth of damage, making the only Twisted in the lethal category. So if you guys don't know that, Dandy does in fact one hit, which is probably why the speed is only average. Quell is wanting to give the immersion, the feeling of when you're being chased by Dandy. They want you to feel dread. She wants you to feel terrified and mortified when you see this thing coming towards you. Like, when it gets close, she wants you to think that you're gonna die, which is why a speed boost would in fact do that. Dandy's current attention span is above average, and the detection range is also average. Considering it goes to machines after they're finished, that gives tunes way too much time to get away from the machine. What if you kept its speed at average, but made it so that when a tune gets to 75% on a machine, it alerts Twisted Dandy? How terrifying would that be? Yeah, I know. Let's talk about this Twisted Astro buff. So with Twisted Astro, Quell mentioned that Twisted Astro is getting a slight speed buff and will be faster than Twisted Toodle, which makes sense because once again, Twisted Astro has an average Twisted speed. And if there's one thing I noticed with Twisteds, is that the Twisteds that are getting buffed as main tunes, they're the only main tunes with average speed, from my understanding. So for example, let's check out Twisted Pebble. Twisted Pebble, speed, high, which is a main tune. The next main tune, Twisted V, whose speed is average. But what makes it so that people fear Twisted V? Oh, it applies slow too, which makes tunes 50% slower to players being chased by Twisted V. Oh, go figure. So it might be average speed, but guess what? It makes the other tunes go slower. What about Twisted Shelly? What makes Twisted Shelly so balanced? Oh wait, her speed's above average. Not only that, but Twisted Shelly will apply Confusion 1 debuff to every tune on the floor, which causes it to extract much slower, which makes chases last much longer, which means your stamina is gonna go down even faster. Go figure. She's balanced. And what about Twisted Sprout? What makes Twisted Sprout so good? Especially with their speed being below average. Oh wait, when detecting a tune, will leave a deadly tendril under the detected tune, attacking anyone that stepped onto it for too long. Oh yeah, no crap. So it can literally, it's the only ranged Twisted in the entire game, which once again makes it a balanced Twisted. So it's clear that Twisted Astro and Twisted Dandy are getting a buff for one reason, and it's that the main tunes or the main Twisteds are just outright better than they are. Like, by a lot. And theoretically, Dandy should be the hardest Twisted to fight, or the scariest to play against, because you choose, to a degree, when you fight him. And yes, Twisted Astro does apply the slow speed. However, what does the Tired 3 debuff even do? Oh, it reduces your stamina regeneration by 75%. The problem is, Twisted Astro, he's just not fast. When you get chased by Twisted Astro, it's really just not scary for some. And I guess his debuff compared to other ones are really easy to mitigate. Twisted Astro is only good when he's mixed with another really fast and high speed Twisted. That is just my opinion though. Let me know what you guys think down below. but these buffs to me make sense. But coming up, the buff that has been screamed from the rooftop for months. I would say the biggest asked for buff in the entire game is going to be Scraps. Scraps is going to get a nice thick buff. Quell mentioned that Scraps will be getting a better stats buff, and her cooldown will be lowered a little bit. As you can see, Quell said Scraps more so will change to have better stats, as well as, I'm lowering Scraps cooldown a little bit this coming update. So, let's go ahead and take a look at Scraps right now. If you add all of her stars together, 4 plus 5, 9, 12, 15. So it has the normal 15 cooldown and a 30-second crafty grapple. But for some reason, people say that Scraps sucks. Why does Scraps suck? It will be because its movement speed's 2. Having 2 movement speed with a stamina of 5 is the biggest slap in the face you can ever give a toon. It's like saying, hey, I'm gonna make you the fastest normal toon. Or I'm gonna give you the stamina of a literal Olympic athlete, except I'm gonna make you slow as a turtle. That is what Scraps is. At the same time, crafty grapple is only okay to a degree anyways. It's pretty situational, and even when you're in those situations, it only helps a little bit. Not a ton, but it does help. So lowering the cooldown might overall make her better, but the only way I think you could really buff her is by lowering a star from her stealth and maybe her extraction speed and adding it to movement speed, or at least making her movement speed 3, at least make it average or something like that. It is so needed. Either way, I digress. It's time to move on to the last and final buff that's going to be coming in this game, which is going to be the nice, fat, and juicy, my beloved, my sweet prince, my Romeo to my Juliet, Razzle and Dazzle. As you can see here, Quell wants to give a Razzle and Dazzle buff in the future update, but it's unknown what the buff is, but this might not happen. It better happen. It better happen. But as you can see in the Discord comment, Quell simply said, I want to buff Razzle and Dazzle. That's it. I want to buff it. So guys, this is our job to talk about what would a Razzle and Dazzle buff even look like. So Razzle and Dazzle switches between a distractor and extractor, which is very, very cool. It splits between its 2 personalities, Razzle being the extractor, I think, and Razzle is the distractor, Dazzle is the extractor. Yes, okay, got it. Either way, there's how its abilities work. It's a little confusing. So it has 3s across the board. However, on odd number floors, its walk speed is 20 and its sprint speed is 30, where on even number floors, its walk speed is 10 and its sprint speed is 20. So on even floors, Razzle and Dazzle is bad. So bad. You move slower than molasses. As a comparison, what's Shrimpo's speed? Oh, it's the same as Shrimpo. On even floors, yeah, you move the same speed as Shrimpo. So you're basically forcing yourself to be using a toon who is only built to make the game harder. When you play Razzle and Dazzle on even floors, you're literally succumbing yourself to that torture, which is why Razzle and Dazzle would be getting a buff. Is your extraction speed going to be 1.5? Yeah, it's pretty good. Razzle and Dazzle on odd floors is very, very good. A very solid toon, I would say. But even floor Dazzle, bad. So the only buff that really needs to happen is you could keep the movement speed the same on the even floors, so it's just terrible on even floors, but you just have to buff its extraction speed more. You have to make it if it's such a negative, which it really has such a negative, you just have to make its positive the best positive in the game. We're talking 5-star extraction speed with 5-star skill check, but you move the speed of Shrimpo. And then on odd floors, you have the walk and sprint speed of Pebble, right? You would be moving the same speed as Pebble, which is movement speed of 5, which wait, that is what it is. I just realized. You just have to add stamina. Yeah, it has the same. So maybe it would make it a little bit higher than Pebble, but lower its extraction speed to be lower than Shrimpo's, which it's the same. So make it the extraction speed 0.5, half the generation speed or half the machine speed, but make it good, so good. Let me know what you guys think of that. If you should really play into the extremes, or if you should go for an overall just balancing to make it better overall, which does make more sense for a normal toon. So these are just my thoughts on what I think these buffs are gonna look like. If anything should be nerfed in the game, what do you guys think it should be? Personally, I don't think anything really needs to be overall nerfed, but I'll listen to you guys and tell you what you guys think. Also, as far as subscribers go, if you guys want to know the update on the costumes, go ahead and check out my video that I posted earlier today. And if you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing so we can get to 50K by the time the year ends. I still need to figure out what I'll do for 50K if we get there. But once again, thank you guys for supporting this channel. It means the world to me. I love you. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.